There's so much that is wrapped up in this bigger, broader bill, and I think it's going to almost be gasp-worthy when you see the 5,000 some odd pages, I'm told, that we will have. It's not only the appropriations, it's the COVID bills. It is the Water Resources Development Bill, the WRDA bill, very, very significant. There are good bills from the Indian Affairs Committee that I have participated in, water bills that we have been working on. But, Mr. President, the one that I want to speak to a little more in detail this evening, and I was hoping that my ranking member, Senator Manchin, might be here on the floor, but not yet. But I wanted to speak about Title Z in the omnibus bill. Z, I just imagine that they put us at the end because they figured that we were the best, or maybe because they knew that the process that the Energy Act had gone through had probably been more rigorous and lengthy than just about anything out there. But Z, we are at. But I begin my comments with regards to this Energy Act that is contained in this bill by acknowledging that I'm probably speaking on the floor for the last time as the chairman of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, because I've hit my limit, if you will. I have had the honor and the privilege to be both the ranking member on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee and the ranking member on the committee now for a total of 12 years, which is pretty good. It's pretty good to be in a position to be able to advance legislative policy. And I have been very, very fortunate to work with great members. Senator Bingaman was the chairman when I was his ranking. I worked with Senator Wyden as the ranking when he was chairman. And I have had the great privilege to work with Senator Cantwell when I was the chairman, and now Senator Manchin. And I think about these past 2 years and what we have been able to accomplish, and just kind of the recap of where we've been and how productive we have been as a panel. We started this Congress out with passage of the John Dingell Conservation Management and Recreation Act. This was a bipartisan package of more than 120 different measures focused on public lands, natural resources, and water. We'd worked on a lands package throughout the last several months of 2018, and I want to give former ranking member Cantwell a real big shout out here because her leadership was very, very key in that process. We weren't able to get it across the finish line at the end of the last Congress, but we reintroduced it in January of 2019. We passed it through the Senate in February, and the President signed it into law in March. That was a pretty good start. 120 bipartisan bills. But these were bills, you think about it, they related to national parks, to forests, to sportsmen's access. We delivered on the federal government's promises to Alaska Natives who had served during the Vietnam War. We permanently reauthorized the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and we provided new authorities to help protect from natural hazards such as volcanic eruptions. I'll note that the Kilauea just erupted on the Big Island of Hawaii. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. So important to be addressing our natural hazards. So we did that at the beginning of the Congress, and then Senator Manchin and I set our sights on something that hadn't been done in a long time, and that was modernization of our nation's energy policies, to make real reforms and bring them in line with our current challenges and our opportunities. And so we started with some very broad-based hearings, and then took a very specific and deep dive into some of the issues and the technologies. And then we started moving bills. We were negotiating, we were reporting dozens of bills as part of our regular order committee process. And knowing how things work around here, we knew that we weren't going to be able to move them each individually as standalone bills. So we wrapped them up into a broader bill. We called it our American Energy Innovation Act. We brought that bill to the floor in February, and we were going just great. We were working through, and it was kind of nice, again, to be the first bill really on the floor when we began our legislative business, and we stalled out. We were interrupted. We were taken off the track by an unrelated dispute over a measure that is jurisdictional to another committee, and this was just at the start of the global coronavirus pandemic. But I said, we're not done. We're not stopping just because we hit a roadblock here. We're going to keep working. We kept working. We kept working. We kept looking for an opening to pass the first major energy bill since 2007. 2007 is a long time if we haven't updated and reformed our energy policies. So it was worth working on. I kept saying, don't count us out, don't write us off. Over the past few months, we found that opening. We worked with really good partners over on the House side, over at Energy and Commerce and the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee, and we wrote what we have called simply the Energy Act of 2020. Pretty simple, pretty beautiful in my view. But our Energy Act is included now as Division Z in the year-end omnibus. It provides for reforms and new authorities related to a range of emerging technologies, including advanced nuclear, carbon capture, utilization, and storage, carbon removal, renewables, energy storage. It reauthorizes programs that many of us are supportive of and want to advance, weatherization assistance, ARPA-E. It features the bulk of my language related to critical minerals and materials to help us rebuild our domestic supply chains, which we know is so critical. It reflects our strong commitment to cleaner energy to help us address climate change without raising the cost of energy or imposing divisive mandates. So I would suggest to you, Mr. President, that this energy bill is just the perfect bookend for this Congress, because what started as a major lands package is now going to end with a major energy package. And again, I mentioned it's been since 2007. It's the first energy bill, the energy side of Energy and Natural Resources Committee, first energy bill in almost 13 years. It was President George W. Bush who signed the last one on December 19th of 2007. So I want to thank Ranking Member Manchin for his leadership on the energy package, as well as all of the committee members who contributed to it. We had great help within our committee. We had great help within this body. Last count, we were looking at input and contributions from some 70 different members. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinary work of the staffs. I had the opportunity to give a tribute to my staff director, Brian Hughes, who is leaving after many years on the committee. He did a fabulous job advancing this, along with Spencer Nelson, Pat McCormick, Annie Heffler. There were so many others, Lucy Murphy. That team was extraordinary. But they were joined by an extraordinary team that Senator Manchin had, led by his staff director, Renee. And I apologize, Renee, I'm drawing a blank on the last name, but the individuals there who really helped us advance this, Sam Fowler and so many, we can't thank them enough. I also want to really give sincere thanks to our House partners, because they were this six-corner working group here. Frank Pallone, the chairman at Energy and Commerce Ranking Member Greg Walden, Science Chairwoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, and Science Ranking Member Frank Lewis. We could not have reached an agreement without their leadership and their willingness to work together. But I also want to acknowledge and thank Leader McConnell and Senator Schumer for agreeing to work with us and to help us secure this opening and this commitment. I can't remember how many times Leader McConnell has said, you know, Lisa, You're probably going to figure out a way to pull a rabbit out of a hat here, and I don't know that this is a rabbit out of a hat, but I think persistence has certainly paid off. So I want to thank the teams who really helped to make this happen. And again, in addition to a good energy bill, the year-end Omni also includes the bipartisan water package featuring 9 provisions that are important to western states like Colorado, Montana, and Arizona. Lane Dixon on my Energy Committee staff was fabulous there. We added a few more lands bills into the final package. Lucy and Annie helped us with that. We really have worked to advance so much out of the committee. All of these accomplishments, our lands package, our energy package, our water package, the lands bills that we try to add to everything that moves and occasionally pass by UC, and measures that I haven't spoken to, including the Great American Outdoors Act. These are all the hallmarks of a highly productive Congress for the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. And I'm very pleased to have been able to shepherd these measures into law. But what I'm proud of more than any piece of legislation, more than anything out there, in the time that I have been able to lead this committee, what I'm most proud of is the bipartisan way in which this committee has operated. Our commitment to bipartisan, which has produced continually good results for our country. And what I found as ranking member and now chairman is that there's simply no substitute for working together and across party lines to find agreement wherever it's possible. So I thank Senator Manchin for following that same approach, to our committee colleagues for their own bipartisanship and collegiality, to our House colleagues who have helped us with that. I see that my friend from the great state of Washington and Pacific Northwest is here. And Senator Cantwell, I want you to know that as I have spoken of the accomplishments of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, I am very thankful and appreciative of your leadership and what you have provided over the years, working together with your team. We have accomplished good things for the right reasons. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.